According to media reports, U.S. President Donald Trump said he was standing by his White House Chief of Staff, Susie Wiles, after Vanity Fair magazine published interviews in which the reporting said Wiles revealed internal tensions in Trump's administration and described an unflattering picture of the roles played by some of the president's inner circle. According to the reporting, Trump, who regularly describes Wiles as the most powerful woman in the world, told the New York Post on Tuesday that he has full confidence in his chief of staff and that she had done a fantastic job. As described in coverage, the White House chief of staff has disputed portions of a Vanity Fair article in which the reporting said she paints an unflattering picture of the Trump administration and many of its top officials. According to outlets, in the interview material published by Vanity Fair, Wiles described Donald Trump as having an alcoholic's personality and described Vice President J.D. Vance as having been a conspiracy theorist for a decade. As reported, Wiles posted on X that Vanity Fair disregarded significant context to create an overwhelmingly chaotic and negative narrative about the administration. According to media reports, Wiles was described as 68, and as having played a key part in Trump's successful 2024 presidential campaign before becoming the first woman to be White House chief of staff. According to the New York Post interview, as described in coverage, Trump defended Wiles, described her as fantastic, and suggested she had been deceived by the writer. According to the reporting, the president also said he thought Wiles' comments about his personality mirrored remarks he previously made. As described in coverage, the Vanity Fair interviews were conducted by author Chris Whipple, and the reporting said the interviews took place over Trump's first year back in office, with nearly a dozen interviews, including a total described as a series of 11 interviews. According to media reports, the Vanity Fair interviews covered a wide range of issues, including handling of Epstein files, Trump's legal actions against political rivals, and personalities around the president. As described in coverage, Wiles said there may be an element of retribution in Trump's efforts to pursue criminal cases against political adversaries or perceived foes. According to the reporting, Wiles also said, "I don't think he wakes up thinking about retribution," and added, "but when there's an opportunity, he will go for it." According to outlets, the reporting also described Wiles as widely considered among the most powerful members of the Trump White House in his second term. As described in coverage, prior to becoming chief of staff, Wiles had a long history working with Trump, including as his campaign manager in Florida in 2016 and as the head of his fundraising apparatus, Save America. According to the reporting, Wiles said in the interview that she credits her upbringing with an alcoholic father as what enabled her to work with the president. As reported, she said, "High-functioning alcoholics or alcoholics in general, their personalities are exaggerated when they drink," and added, "So I'm a little bit of an expert in big personalities." According to media reports, Wiles said that while the president does not drink, Trump has an alcoholic's personality and governs with the mindset that there's nothing he can't do. Nothing, zero, nothing. As described in coverage, the reporting also stated that Wiles described Trump as an intense figure who thinks in broad strokes, and that she assessed Trump as having an alcoholic's personality, even though the president does not drink. According to the reporting, Wiles linked that personality trait to something she said she recognized from her father, described in the reporting as the famous sports broadcaster Pat Summerall, and she repeated the line that she was a little bit of an expert in big personalities. According to outlets, Vanity Fair published what the reporting described as a series of interviews, in which Wiles gave what was described as her own unvarnished thoughts about Donald Trump's administration, and the reporting characterized the interviews as unusually candid for a sitting aide. As reported, coverage said Wiles called out Attorney General Pam Bondi over her handling of the Jeffrey Epstein case and criticized Elon Musk over dismantling the United States Agency for International Development, described as USAID. According to the reporting, the Vanity Fair interviews were described as offering an unusually candid look inside the White House, and the coverage said Wiles had maintained a low profile for much of Trump's term. As described in coverage after publication of the piece on Tuesday, Wiles called the Vanity Fair story a disingenuously framed hit piece on me and the finest president, White House staff, and cabinet in history, and said it omitted important context and selectively quoted her to create a negative narrative. According to the reporting, a number of cabinet officials and other aides rushed to her defense. And the reporting also stated that Wiles, notably, has not denied any details or quotes. According to media reports summarizing the interviews, Wiles discussed Trump's inner circle and said Vice President J.D. Vance has been a conspiracy theorist for a decade and said his conversion to the MAGA cause was sort of political. According to the reporting, Wiles said Elon Musk overstepped on his Department of Government efficiency efforts, described as Doge. As described in coverage, Wiles called Musk a complete solo actor, an odd duck, and said his gutting of USAID left her initially aghast. According to the reporting, Wiles said he decided that it was a better approach to shut it down, fire everybody, shut them out, and then go rebuild, and added, "Not the way I would do it." According to outlets, Wiles also described Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. as quirky Bobby. As described in coverage, in praising Kennedy, Wiles explained what the reporting described as her embrace of the administration's hardliners. According to the reporting, she said, he pushes the envelope, some would say too far, and added, but I say in order to get back to the middle, you have to push it too far. According to media reports, Wiles described what she called an effort to limit what she described as score settling in the early part of Trump's second administration. As described in coverage, Wiles said, we have a loose agreement that the score settling will end before the first 90 days are over, and the reporting said she told Vanity Fair she did try to tamp down on what the reporting called the president's penchant for retribution. According to the reporting, in August 2025, Wiles shifted and said, I don't think he's on a retribution tour. And the reporting said she argued Trump has a different principle, quoted as, I don't want what happened to me to happen to somebody else. According to other coverage. Included in the source text, Wiles said she tried to get Trump to end his score settling against political enemies after 90 days in office, but the reporting said she acknowledged that the administration's ongoing push for prosecutions has been fueled in part by the president's desire for retribution. As described in coverage, Wiles said she forged a loose agreement with Trump to stop focusing after 3 months on punishing antagonists, and the reporting stated that effort evidently did not succeed. According to the reporting, while Wiles insisted that Trump is not constantly thinking about retribution, she said that when there's an opportunity, he will go for it. According to media reports, in the same set of interviews, Wiles said Trump pushed false narratives that former President Bill Clinton frequented Jeffrey Epstein's island. As described in coverage, Wiles said, there is no evidence those visits happened, and said there are no damning findings concerning Clinton at all. According to the reporting, Wiles said, the president was wrong about that. According to the reporting, another account stated that Wiles acknowledged Trump was not telling the truth when he accused former President Bill Clinton of visiting the private island of Jeffrey Epstein. According to media reports, Wiles also commented on Attorney General Pam Bondi's handling of the Jeffrey Epstein case and Epstein files. As described in coverage, Wiles said Bondi whiffed or completely whiffed on handling the case and files. According to the reporting, the criticism focused on managing public expectations by suggesting the Justice Department had a client list waiting to be disclosed, and the reporting said the administration later said it does not exist. According to outlets, Wiles also addressed tariffs in the Vanity Fair interviews, describing the rollout of Liberation Day tariffs in April as so much thinking out loud, and the reporting said there were internal disputes about it among aides. As described in coverage, Wiles said she asked Vance to tell Trump to not talk about tariffs today until his team was in complete unity. According to the reporting, Wiles said she believed a middle ground on tariffs would be successful and concluded it's been more painful than I expected. According to media reports, Wiles also discussed what the reporting described as Trump's approach to boat strikes and Nicolas Maduro. As described in coverage, Wiles said in November that Trump wants to keep on blowing boats up until Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro cries uncle. According to the reporting, Trump has repeatedly said Maduro's days are numbered as the U.S. intensifies deadly attacks on vessels in the Caribbean Sea and Eastern Pacific. According to the reporting, the administration alleges the targets are drug smuggling cartels. According to the reporting, additional characterizations of Trump's team appeared across the interview summaries. As described in coverage, Wiles said, Elon Musk is an avowed ketamine user and an odd duck. And the reporting said she described his actions as not always rational and said they left her aghast. According to media reports, Wiles described Russell T. Vought, the budget director, as a right-wing absolute zealot. According to the reporting, Wiles described Vice President J.D. Vance as having been a conspiracy theorist for a decade and described his conversion from Trump critic to ally as sort of political, with the reporting stating it was because he was running for Senate. According to outlets, the source text also included a reference line stating with the Associated Press and Reuters, indicating that the coverage drew on those outlets. As described in the provided text, the source also included unrelated material about The Guardian, John Scott, and the Scott Trust, presented as a separate item in the same document. And that material was not described as part of the Trump and Wiles reporting. According to media reports, the central reported development was Trump's statement to the New York Post that he stands by Susie Wiles and has full confidence in her, alongside Wiles's public statement disputing portions of Vanity Fair's framing and context, while the reporting said she did not deny details or quotes. According to the reporting, the interviews published by Vanity Fair included a range of quoted assessments by Wiles about Trump, members of his administration, internal disputes, legal actions, and policy issues discussed in the interviews.